Organ transplant recipients share their experiences at the Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center. A daughter from an impoverished family attends Tzu Chi tutoring classes, resulting in getting into the TC University. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri. Thank you for joining us. Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center, which established its organ transplanting in 1995, had completed its first liver transplant surgery back in 2003. Recently, 3 organ transplant recipients came to Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital to share their experiences and express their gratitude to the organ donors. Cheers and applause can be heard in the hospital lobby. It has been 15 years since Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center has completed its first liver transplant surgery.
With effective medical measures, we can help many patients whose lives are in danger get a second chance at life.
Zhang Wenyi hovered between life and death before he underwent a liver transplant. After he received the liver transplant 15 years ago, he started a new chapter of his life.
I went through a transformation. Originally, I looked dark and thin, as if I was on my last legs. After I underwent the liver transplant and stayed in the hospital for 2 months, they were surprised to see me in such good conditions afterwards.
Another former patient, Li Wenyu, also shared his experience of receiving an organ transplant. Now his entire family has vowed to help other patients as well.
When there is no cure, it is meaningful to leave something behind in this world. My wife and son both signed the donor cards as well.
Since 2003, Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center has completed 58 liver transplants. Other common transplantations include the heart, liver, kidney, corneas, bones, skin, and bone marrow. The medical professionals hope more people will be willing to sign up as potential donors, giving hope to more patients and their families. In the aftermath of the floods in Myanmar, Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan, Myanmar, and Malaysia have formed a disaster assessment team to conduct home visits. Seeing the volunteers, some affected farmers remarked that the volunteers' visit has provided much-needed warmth and hope. After the floodwater receded, the weather in Myanmar has become hot again. Tzu Chi disaster assessment team has come to Thongkwa village in Kaohsiung to conduct home visits. Traveling the long distances, the volunteers want to understand the needs of the affected farmers. Yu Ding-Thing, who has 17 moons of rice paddies, is left with 4 moons of field. Having missed the opportunity to replant rice, he plans to grow something else.
Our rice paddies were flooded. We cannot do anything about it since it is a natural disaster. Now that you've come to provide care, we do not feel that bad.
Besides Thongkwa village, Sharkhan village has also been severely affected. When the volunteers come to visit, the farmers say that they hope to receive mung bean seeds. If they could plant and harvest in the winter, they can pay back their loans for buying seed grains. Otherwise, their rice paddies could get confiscated.
There are 120 farmers in our village, and this time, more than 1,000 mules of rice paddies have been flooded. Since the flood occurred, no organizations have visited us except you.
Among the Tzu Chi volunteers, Wu Ting-Tang was also affected when Cyclone Nargis struck Myanmar in 2008. He used his own experience to encourage everyone.
I did not expect that people would come to provide care. Listening to your words of encouragement, I feel more confident.
The volunteers share Jing's aphorisms and show their support for these farmers, hoping to help them get back on their own 2 feet soon. After the eruption of Guatemala's Fuego volcano back in June of this year, the local Tzu Chi volunteers have continuously cared for the affected residents. They recently went back for a second aid distribution, giving 168 families blankets, hygiene products, umbrellas, and snacks.
After the September 9th distribution, Guatemala Tzu Chi volunteers went back again to the temporary shelter area. This time, they are conducting a second aid distribution for the affected residents. With the previous experience, the preparation work is more than familiar. Before distribution started, volunteers introduced Tzu Chi and explained the origin of the eco-friendly blankets that they are receiving. Even though the residents have very little left after the evacuation, they were still willing to give back what they had when the bamboo coin bank was passed around. This temporary shelter area is the Santa Isabel village, located in San Juan, Alotinago. There were a total of 168 households. Every family received blankets, hygiene products, umbrellas, and snacks. While volunteers distributed the aid materials, they also personally visited temporary shelter sites. They wanted to get a better understanding of the current situation. At the moment, due to the malfunction of a pump, there's a water shortage. The volunteers hope that more people can come help out the affected residents.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Mangkhut in the Philippines, local Tzu Chi volunteers continue to assess damages in the affected areas. In addition to helping typhoon survivors get back on their feet, volunteers also educated them about environmental protection.
This crooked wooden house is where Rosemary Lawigan and her family live.
Of these materials were found in the rubble heap. We pick up everything that can still be used.
Tzu Chi volunteers have come to Bagao, where Typhoon Mangkhut landed, to assess damages. The affected residents, who still have a decent place to live, already feel fortunate. This partially collapsed wooden house attracts volunteers' attention. When it comes to the homeowner's difficulties in life, his neighbor's heart goes out to him.
He has mobility issues because his house collapsed. He has no place to live now. Before I allowed him to live in one of my places, he is really poor.
Volunteers then decided to work with a neighbor to help the man rebuild his house.
Gusto mo makapagong bahay ka? Meron gusto mo? May bagong bahay kasi sabi yung kapitbahay bayanihan daw.
Kalain po.
This is unexpected help. If no one comes here to help, it will take me a long time to rebuild it.
The area was severely affected not only due to the strong power of Typhoon Mangkhut, but also the transition from the forest to farmland.
Convert nila yung mga forest land namin into corn land. And it will destroy our mountains and our topsoils. It will also destroy our river channels. It's that.
We also know the possible consequences of turning the forest into cornfields. However, we can only rely on farming to get by.
If they know this, they will not grow corn on the hillside. Instead, they will plant trees. This is the most important thing that we should do. We need to not only continue to help them, but we should also educate them.
Volunteers shouldered the responsibility to educate local residents about life skills and environmental protection.
In Kaohsiung, Ling Pei is a very diligent child, but her family life is quite a struggle. Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for the family, and Pei is one of the dedicated students that attend the weekend Tzu Chi tutoring classes. There are various volunteer tutoring teachers that are more than glad to help these underprivileged children.
When you first meet someone, the very first time, this is called contact in English. The second meaning is when you are contacting someone. like trying to get a hold of them.
Daily stays in contact with her friend.
This locker pen, we
因为我以前是开
I used to own an English cram school before, so I know. When she was back in middle school level, the school's curriculum most likely didn't focus so much on pronunciation. This is a type of vicious cycle because it doesn't encourage the child to speak English out loud.
At first, my English was horrible. I couldn't even read the words correctly. I think it's because I never really properly learned in elementary school. When they first started teaching me, I wasn't very interested, but then I gradually started to like it. It's amazing. I went from not knowing anything to now I can understand a lot more.
I have children of my own. They are about the same age as these students. Many times I would think about how I would pay for my kids to get tutoring lessons and they might not want to go. Then coming here, I've realized that some children don't even have the choice of wanting to go or not. They simply don't even have the chance to attend.
师傅，你们说啊，谢谢，谢谢，有没有？
我们当初来这边的话，When we first came here, at first glance, it made us feel like this family really deserves our love and care. They really need to know that there are people who care deeply about them. We immediately started to think of different ways of how we can assist them in improving the family dynamic.
Originally, the conditions of the walls were the same as the ground. It was very uneven. Later, the Tzu Chi volunteers came and they used cement to fill in all the cracks and reinforce the wall. Now it's all nice and flat.
佩，你这样子上慈大，有没有需要什么用品啊，或者买些东西？
就是那个我在说的那个衣服啊，
衣服有了，衣服已经找到了，
适合他吗？
对，刚好身材差不多的。
是哦。
嘿，一个师姐的小孩，也是念慈大的。看他们家的状况。
Due to the situation of the family, it's very hard for them to focus on cultivating the children. Really, it's really very difficult, whether it's financially or just simple resources. We went and got them some tables and chairs so it would be more convenient for them to study at home. Before, they used to just do it on a simple chair or even on the bed, with their legs bent to use as a tabletop. So through this, we can see that the children were still very motivated in studying.
The biggest problem faced by universities in Taiwan is how to attract new students. According to statistics, if students are evenly divided amongst the universities, each school will have an enrollment of 1,722 students. This figure is similar to the situation in South Korea. Let's take a look at how South Korea is taking measures to ensure a level of quality in higher education.
South Korea is also experiencing a declining birth rate, similar to that of Taiwan. One of the first effects is the education system. Each has pursued their own path of managing their approach to higher education.
그런 것들이 있어요. 학교마다 특성화. 그러니까
The trend now is for every school to develop its own characteristics. In the past, school management strategy was well-rounded development, but the current direction now is focusing on developing one or two special features that may appeal to students. This will let them choose their school according to these characteristics.
South Korean universities are eager to carve out a niche for themselves in the future. They all fear a changing environment that will affect them. The government has also implemented admission controls since 2015, which will be implemented in 3 phases by 2023. These measures are expected to reduce enrollment by 160,000.
韩国在高等教育这样的一个政策是很强势的。
South Korea's higher education policy is quite intense. Regional schools and programs can't compete against programs in Seoul. So when their evaluations suffer, this makes the situation even worse.
受到的冲击也很大。
How to reduce the number of places available for enrollment? In fact, this is all part of the University Reform Plan. 5 different grades can be given to different programs, with the top ranking being very outstanding, outstanding, and average. Schools in this range only need slight adjustments, with the government continuing to provide financial support. However, if a school is classified as failing, in addition to losing enrollment quotas, even the scholarship and aid for students will be limited. Programs deemed to be dramatically failing on 2 occasions will be forced to close, which can help other institutions survive. Many want to enter either Seoul National University, Korea University, Yonsei University, 3 programs referred to by the SKY acronym. These programs guarantee graduates a bright future. These concentrated resources help enhance competitiveness. Officials are also active recruiting international students and developing more local graduate students.
Each year they have 600 spaces for more than 100 countries around the world. The quota for Taiwan is about 6 students. The master's degree program is 3 years and a doctor's degree is 4 years with full scholarship. The scholarship includes free tuition and monthly living expenses of around $800.
Scholarships for foreign students are inviting, and so are enticements to domestic students. Many are familiar with the KB21+, which is designed to spur more researchers with a budget of $1.8 billion. Ordinary schools can apply for the PRIME program, which promotes greater cooperation with industry.
The school has developed a number of cross-disciplinary courses. Liberal arts students are able to design their own majors and take courses in other fields.
Ewha Women's University has 193 students. Studying humanities or those in physical fitness or art can transfer to disciplines related to engineering fields.
Interdisciplinary courses at Konkuk University and Ewha Women's University are obviously moving students towards science and technology. This seems to be a response to industrial trends, but from another point of view, it may be hard to predict what may happen 10 years down the road. This means that the outcome of drastic reforms may be difficult to predict, as more time may still be needed.
Tzu Chi University third-year medical school students hosted a tea ceremony to express their gratitude toward 12 silent mentors. They prepared flowers, cards, and desserts for the silent mentors and vowed to become compassionate future doctors.
Teacher's Day is coming. Tzu Chi University Medical School students prepare snacks and flowers to express their respect and gratitude to silent mentors.
The silent mentor loves sweets like bubble tea and cakes when he was alive, so we especially prepared many desserts to show our love to him.
We want to dedicate some efforts to thank them on Teacher's Day.
Students served tea and snacks solemnly. They made them vow to the silent mentors that they would study hard in the anatomy class and build a solid foundation to be a good doctor in the future.
We're carrying many people's expectations when we study anatomy. We can't let down the trust of our teachers and the silent mentors' families.
For these medical students, studying hard and becoming a dedicated doctor is the best way to express their gratitude to silent mentors.
Nowadays, children are encouraged to participate in more sports activities. However, when a child is not fully developed, there are certain health risks involved. It's quite common for children to get sports-related injuries, but the danger lies when they do not get immediate medical attention. That's why doctors recommend that young children should not push their bodies to the limits, and they should do proper warm-up exercises beforehand.
Kick the ball forward quickly, but also prevent the ball from being taken. The young football player has great coordination.
The football field is really big in size, so you can sprint fast. That's why I like football.
Swinging hard, the young second grader dreams of becoming a professional baseball player.
你喜欢打棒球吗？
喜欢啊。
那练球会不会很累？
不会。
Children who love playing sports can indeed enhance their heart and lung functions, while strengthening their musculoskeletal development as well. However, sports such as baseball, football, and skateboarding are prone to body collisions and fractures.
肱骨上的骨折，这蛮常见的。
Tibia fractures are quite common, also the fracturing of the distal humerus, just above the elbow joint. There's also the commonly known hopper's knee. All of these will cause children to be in great pain.
If the child's injured repeatedly or if has not recovered within a 3-month period, it will become chronic and the treatment efforts will be limited. Young children should avoid doing pull-ups, rock climbing, weightlifting, and extreme sports of any types. It may affect their overall growth and height.
It's not recommended to push the limit or use one's skeletal muscle strength to the extreme. Do not increase the amount of muscle growth by too much.
Exercise must be safe and protective equipment is indispensable. Remember to also do warm-up exercises beforehand.
Before starting to exercise, we'll do 10 to 15 minutes of warm-up movements. These gestures need to be done properly.
At times, the child will not be able to express to you when they are injured. That's why it's crucial for parents to be observant. If there is a problem, seek immediate medical attention. Do not wait until it's not fixable.
The Tzu Chi Brazil Liaison Office recently held a free clinic in Francisco Morato. A variety of free medical services were provided, including free prescription glasses for many impoverished residents. Since it was held on a Sunday, many parents seized the opportunity to take their children for a checkup.
On Sunday, Brazil TIMA members provided a variety of free medical services for the impoverished residents in Francisco Morato. Many of them came with their children as well.
The free clinic helps us a lot. Due to it being held on Sunday, I don't need to go to work. So that's why I'm able to bring my 2 children to come get checkups. It's very nice.
It would be even better if the free clinic is held every month because it's very expensive going to the doctors.
TIMA doctors passionately served each patient, seizing the opportunity to give back.
It's our duty as doctors to help those in need. In Brazil, there are many impoverished and suffering populations, so it's normal that we reach out to them.
The optometry service provided prescription glasses, which allowed many people with blurred vision to see clearly again.
Aftermath of Typhoon Mangkhut in Guangdong, Tzu Chi volunteers brought pomelos and mooncakes to visit the senior citizens at Humen Sandong Nursing Home. Let's take a look.
Tzu Chi volunteers take time to set up the event venue. After Typhoon Mangkhut, volunteers visited seniors and brought them pomelo for Mid-Autumn Festival. The little boy gives a pomelo to these grandpas and grandmas respectfully, and they are all very pleased. These grandmas, who are very lively, gather to make handcrafts together. The volunteer discovered that there is a senior who is not at the venue, so she brought the little boy to visit and care for the grandma who is ill in her home. There's also a grandma who can't go downstairs due to pain in her feet, so she sits on the terrace to get a sense of the event's cheerful vibe. Many of the seniors in the nursing home don't have their children around them often. Volunteers visited them regularly and had formed a bond with many of them, treating everyone just like a big family.
Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center recently declared its collaboration with a biotechnological team in the United States. This team will support the medical center with its research on stem cell treatments. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.